It goes where you go, feeding on the innocent, the tormented reek of its salvation. It is unrelenting, vicious, and don't let anyone fool you. It exists, no matter what. Don't ever call it by its name. It will hear and find you if you do. Don't ever mention it out loud, not even if you see it in a book or on a mobile device or computer screen.
I said action.
No, I'm not saying it.
It's not real, it's a myth. Can we just begin the episode? Action.
No.
Listen, we can't begin...
Just roll the wall-breaking thingy!
Okay, now what?
It is in the script. Again. Still.
Okay, then how about you just give it a code name? Call it Princess Cake.
Princess Cake is the period of time in which a writer struggles to produce new material. Some cases have said to have lasted over 4 decades, Ralph Ellison probably being the most recognized. He was author of the book Invisible Man. So, how does it happen? What causes it? Is there a cure? It's story time, ladies and gentlemen. Gather around. One is safe to assume this beast has existed since the inception of scribing. For the sake of time, we'll skip ahead to 1947, when it was officially recognized. Psychoanalyst Edmund Bergler coined the term. He compared it to gambling, kleptomania, criminality, and other things, claiming they were all traits of someone's subconscious trying to ruin their conscious mind, which is called psychomasochism. And if you're asking, did he put his money where his mouth is? He did. He'd written 25 books and 273 scholarly articles. But before you go off to praise him or look into him more, please note, he also considered homosexuality as a form of psychomasochism. Others have linked depression or physical illness to Princess Cake. Tons of studies have been done, and we're gonna get a little scientific here. There is a theory circling around linked to the cerebral cortex and limbic system in our brain. The cerebral cortex controls voluntary movements, our consciousness, and perception. The limbic system more so is connected to our primal instincts, emotions, and flow of adrenaline. It is argued that literary creativity stems mostly from the functions of our cerebral cortex, but when we're under physical or mental duress, our brains shift more towards the limbic system, hence the feeling of being unable to produce new work. But what I'm about to tell you next might be the most offensive and scariest thing you hear throughout the entirety of Poetry Defined. Your brain is like a muscle. It requires adequate exercise and rest. And if that's not the source of your problem, and you are going through a significant amount of time of not producing at a normal rate, then the truth of the matter is, the issue lies way deeper than being creative. You don't need a writing prompt, you need reality help.
Stop being mean.
You're the one who wrote the script and doesn't believe in it, dude. I'm just reading off the teleprompter. Okay, all jokes aside, though they were truthful, before we get into how to combat this, a gentle reminder to share Poetry Defined. I'm one brave, poorly made digital figure to be discussing a scary topic like this, so show me some courage and share this episode on your social media. A vast majority of the self-diagnosis has a real simple cure. Here are my top 5 tips on vaccinating and curing yourself of Princess Cake. Number 1, commitment. For almost everyone, this is the reason you're suffering. Writing is not easy, and waiting around for a surplus of inspiration does your growth no good. Committing to an idea or its completion may be the most arduous thing about creative writing. Inspiration is everywhere. Pick an idea and be committed. Number 2, read. It all starts here. Reading will get them wheels rolling. I always suggest taking the time to read authors who are not from your culture or era. Though in some ways it may lack a familiar connection with you, the aspects which feel foreign will force you to be a more active participant as a reader. And believe me, if a human wrote it, you will find parts of it would call to something familiar. That too will get them gears going. Number 3, exercise. What are you waiting for? The Super Bowl of writing? Set a schedule and go. A challenge. Do the 30-30. Or maybe choose a week to write 1,000 words per day for 1 week. Who cares if a lot of what you wind up writing you're just going to delete a few months after? You might need to shake the rust off. And for some of us, there may be a lot of rust. Oh yeah. Shake what your procrastination gave ya. Shake what your procrastination gave ya. Number 4, be more aware and calm down. Easy there, buddy. Sometimes, as someone who prides themselves on producing, we forget to sit back and smell the flowers. Observe. Artists create from a well of observation. Maybe your writing has attracted you some attention which has led you to keep your eyes on yourself. Oh yeah, I look good. We sometimes need a reality check, one that says in big, bold letters, eyes over here, buddy. Number 5, teach. Mirror time for me. Putting yourself in a position of having to teach others will lead you through a maze full of goodies. You're made to do more research and find ways of expressing something so personal to you in a universal way. Building upon that and or finding a single different perspective on something can open a floodgate of muses. Sometimes the world forgets or doesn't realize just how much labor goes into writing. Art is meant to be difficult. If everyone can do it all, it wouldn't be nearly as special. Unfortunately, I'd love to say some magical words or boast a false promise like others about this. But the truth, the inconvenient, uncomfortable, and unlikable truth is, it takes work. A ton of work to build up an awesome consistency, and it requires time. Well, that's it. Be sure to connect and follow us on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and sorts at Advocate of Wordz. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and as always, we thank you for watching Poetry Defined. Those first 3 lines are just like a haiku in Senryu. More on that later. Another aspect of the tanka that we see in Round 1, standout qualities. Both metaphor and simile share a similar purpose as stated by the Purdue online writer.
And cut. Kill the green screen.
Dude, I'm so mad right now. You were gonna make me say it.
I am your producer. How can you not trust me by now? This is our 13th episode.
Wait, this is our 13th episode and you were going to make me say it?
Say what?
Writer's block!